Everyone who's actually here, we're just waiting for Etzer to get here. Said like 2 minutes. I thought I got a Discord message. Oh, I did. Wait, let's see if I can do this. I should be able to complete this. Alright. Frick. Oh, there it is. Wait, my mic. Okay, there. Hello?
Hey.
Alright. So, let me get an auto level going, then we can talk.
An auto level?
Yeah, so I don't have to focus, but there's at least something going on.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna be building while I do it.
Alright, there's like a 15-minute auto level. I'm trying to find it. I don't know what the name of it is. 1 second. Where is... Oh, there we go. Oh, Larga Espera Auto. Is that the right name, Sunix? I'm not sure. I think if it's 2 L's, I modded that. Okay then, alright, got that. Okay, here it is. Alright, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I need to turn down this music, but so first I want to ask you, what are your opinions on the whole situation? Everything that's going on.
Okay, so I've been making a video lately, in general, just about hacking, or more specifically expose videos, because I'm kind of sick of them. It kind of feels a little bit like, it feels a little bit almost maybe pointless in a way. It's like I have a whole video. It's kind of more scripted. It's hopefully coming out once I manage to edit it, but it's kind of the big point that I'm kind of trying to hit on is kind of the harm that an exposed video can do, where although it kind of feels like there's always these taglines where it's not intended for hate, it's not this type of thing, but when you're a creator and you make these videos, you kind of have to be aware of the consequences that you're going to get out of those videos, because if you have a fan base of hundreds of thousands of subscribers, there are going to be those odd ones out who will interpret this as, man, this guy's a scummy person for hacking, let's go hate on him, when it just feels kind of irrelevant in the first place because he has maybe a fifth of your guys' subscribers, and it just kind of felt like, man, like there's no need for this video. He's doing fine himself, and at the end of the day, he's hacking and he's making a little bit of money off him. Good for him for making a YouTube channel that's successful. I sort of see it. My point is less about him hacking or not. It's more about why does it matter that he's hacking or not, if you get my point.
Yeah, okay.
And
I see.
it's a little bit more nuanced than that, but that's kind of why we're here to discuss that. That's just kind of sort of where I'm going.
Okay, so I've heard that argument before. So I'm curious why... Okay, so I've heard that argument before, like I said, but I'm curious, do you think... So if I personally did this, so I know you're indirectly talking about me, because I uploaded a video and said not to send hate, but clearly people do it anyways, and they don't listen. So, let's see, what... Do you think that it's my fault that people are doing that? If I tell them, if I give a disclaimer, tell them not to go hate, do you think it's my fault that they're doing that? Do you think I'm responsible for my fans?
Personally, I think it's not, like, I think this is like a discussion that's been going on for ages, where you have Jake Paul and you have his fans showing up at his house, and it's like, is that his fault for making his fans, like giving out his address and his fans come, and he tells them not to? Is that his fault, or is it his fans' fault for being too diehard? Like, this discussion's been going on for a while, so I'm not sure if there's really a right answer here. But I just think it's important to just almost be aware, because like when you make a video titled Lies, Deception, and Deceit or something like that, it kind of implies the side of, hey, Noctifly's been lying to you guys, he's been a shitty person, you guys shouldn't support him. And regardless of if that's the intent you have or not, it can be led as this sort of, hey guys, he's lying to you, go attack him, go call him out on this. And people can choose to call people out by just saying, hey, that's not cool that you've been doing it, or go fuck yourself. And that kind of like, that span of reactions is kind of what causes the issues with this type of thing.
All right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you mentioned Jake Paul, so I want to ask you, so I don't remember if you mentioned this or not. I'm trying my best to listen. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering like exactly what someone's saying, like specifics, but I don't know if you mentioned, he actually didn't, so someone got his house off of Google Maps. I guess a fan put it up there, and, so basically a fan put it up there, and then they got his address from there, and they started going to his house. So, he even said for people not to go there. I don't know, did you mention that?
I don't think I did. I think I did mention that he doesn't, he didn't, so I'm pretty sure I misspoke. Like, from what I remember from the situation, wasn't it like he someone put his Team 10, there was like Team 10 house,
yeah,
was
the
put
business.
on Google
It
Maps
was a
or something.
It was put
right,
on as a business, right.
And he said don't come to this, and then thousands of people came to it still.
Yeah.
So is that his fault for being irresponsible and not hiding his house well enough, and his not controlling his fans well enough, or is that the fans' fault? Personally, there it might be a bit more of the fans' fault. But I think it's an important discussion to kind of figure out, like, are the creators responsible for their fans at all, or are they a little bit, or not at all, or all the way? Like, I think the one that I noticed a lot was Pavlukovans actually in the chat right now. That's funny, because C1997 did an exposed video on him, and like I think it was something regarding him hacking, showcasing, like I think it was either Rob Top's like family's Facebook account or something like that, and it was Pavlukovan made a video on that, and then C made a video on that, and to me it just kind of felt like, now that you're making a video on it, now you're escalating the situation, you're making it worse, because now that you've made this video, now more people know, oh, this information's accessible, let's go look for it too, or oh, let's go check out Pavlukovan's video to see this. Whereas this could have been solved with C1997 literally just striking the video for privacy concerns, or not addressing the video at all, and it probably would just sort of wipe away. Like, that was more of my point there, and I think that's kind of that's closer to the Jake Paul similarities than it is to this situation, where it's kind of like exposing a hacker when all it really does is going to give them views, right? Because you have you and Nobble and Tosh and all these big channels uploading this video exposing Noctifly, who has 30,000 subs or something. And so now it's just like, oh, all these people who didn't know who this guy is now know who this guy is. and so now he's getting way more views, which is, to me, something that maybe you guys don't want. I'm not really sure what the like exact purpose of the videos are.
Okay.
That was something that I was genuinely interested in, like what you have to think with that.
Yeah. So let me explain that. So you know this, because I have 180,000 subscribers does not mean 180,000 people watch me. It's more like 60,000 or less. Definitely less than that. And 60,000 is like a good video. So what my point is that number's a lot closer to the amount of people that are subscribed to Noctify than you think. The overlap is pretty big. Most people know about Noctify. I actually disagree with the fact that while he's getting more views because people are probably going to check out his original video, I don't think that it's giving him a boost in subscribers.
And I don't think it's necessarily giving him a boost. I'm just saying that it's any publicity is good publicity. So regardless of if he gets 2 extra subs from it, like it's going to help him in the long run. I think, like, obviously 2 extra subs isn't like help you in the long run. You get what I mean. My point is more like, kind of keeping his name alive, keeping that name recognition there, is probably going to be more destructive than just ignoring it at all. And it's kind of the same thing. I'm like Partition. This is my personal example. It's comparing a demon verifier person to another, like someone who just plays the game and uploads videos about the game. Partition has like, I think like 150,000 subs at this point. I don't know, something crazy. And genuine, he seems like a very nice guy. He seems like a really cool guy. Genuine opinion, in my opinion, I would never watch his content. I'm not a huge fan of his type of content, so I would never watch him personally. But if you watch him, good on you. Like, if you enjoy his content, that's great. And he makes a lot of money, and a lot of people call him out for his clickbait. But like at the end of the day, he's getting money off of YouTube, and could potentially make a living off of it, which is great for him. So for me, with Noctify hacking, it doesn't seem like it's really directly harming any specific party. It may be misinforming his viewers slightly if he is hacking, but other than that, it doesn't really feel like a huge issue. So to me, it just kind of feels like, let that happen. Wait, I need to go answer the door. I'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Okay. This level's pretty cool. Has anyone actually played this? Was this made in 2.0 or 2.1? Thanks, Gabs, for subbing. Hyperview? Oh, I heard about that.
I'm back with food. My bad. I'm back.
All right, no problem. So we were talking about Partition. Okay, Partition. So in the situation when you're relating Partition to Noctify, I don't think that you can make that parallel because. So Noctify. Now let's just assume that everyone agrees that he is a hacker, cheater, whatever you want to call it, and he's making a lot of views and money, obviously, off of these videos. And then Partition is making, like clickbait, and I haven't seen a lot of his videos. I know that some of them are clickbaity. I don't know how severe they are, but do you think that one is worse than the other, or do you think that they're on the same plane, like the same level? Do you think that clickbaiting and cheating, so clickbaiting for money and cheating a game, or cheating on a game and passing yourself off as a legit player for popularity and money, do you think those two are on this like the same playing field? Do you think those are equal to each other?
I'm not necessarily. I'm kind of more. It's more kind of just using it as an analogy, like just sort of a comparison. I'm not necessarily saying that they're equivalent in this way. My bigger point is the fact that, like, they're kind of. If you kind of see what I'm kind of sort of saying is that it's the same concept where you have YouTube clickbaiters. It's not just Partition, where you could say the same thing where it's like they're cheating the system, they're cheating the way you get views, so they're getting more views, and they're lying to their viewers. And you can get people to complain about that, but at the end of the day, they're doing what they have to do to make money, and it ends up working for them. So like when you see a YouTuber who's just constantly clickbaiting, it's annoying, but it's their channel and they can title their videos whatever they want. And so at the end of the day, I just don't really have an issue with it.
Yeah, but, and to a certain extent, I agree. But when you go too far with clickbaiting, I actually think it violates the terms of service on YouTube. But nothing ever gets done about it because you know how YouTube is. And if someone wants to verify that, they can go ahead. But I'm pretty sure I saw something about it in the terms of service. But
do you think this is considered like? Do you think this would be considered almost clickbait, or do you think this can? Do you think hacking Geometry or hacking another game, like let's say you upload a video of you, like a CS:GO montage of you like kicking ass in CS:GO, and you are using like an aimbot to do it all? Like, do you think that person, like, I guess you can call him out, but do you think that person like deserves hate or deserves to be like removed from YouTube? I don't really know like what you want to be done to Noctify. Like that's the other thing that I've kind of confused is like, what do you want the end results of uploading an exposed video on Noctify to be? You know what I mean?
All right, so I'll explain that. So first off, I don't think anyone... Okay, so I'm a different person from how I was 2 years ago. Obviously, everyone knows how my old exposing videos used to be. I was a different person. I was younger. I was, you know, everyone has gone through a kind of phase like that where they're like that. So
yeah, I don't want to... I exposed Tosh. That was pretty funny, but it was a shitty video. Like,
so I don't want to... I don't want to reference that. That's in the past. That's neither here nor there. So, but I want to talk about. Hold on, I'm pulling up this level. All right. So, what I don't think anyone who makes a cheating video necessarily deserves hate, in my opinion. Especially the death threats, things that go that far. I don't think they deserve hate at all. Now, so they don't deserve it, but that doesn't mean that they'll get it, because you know how everyone is. Everyone has a different opinion, and by them putting their cheated video out online, they're accepting the fact that that could be a result. And unless you're directly telling someone to go hate on them, I don't think that person is responsible for what their fans do, especially if you're advocating for the exact opposite. I definitely don't think that person should be held accountable for what their fans do.
Yeah, no, I definitely I agree for the most part. Like I said, like my video, so my, like, this is kind of my stance, but like I'm not aiming to like just attack you in this video. I think Noctify's had a pretty poor response with this. Like, he's called out Guitar Hero Styles for confessing a year ago. Like, seems like such a stupid response.
He's dragging people down with him.
It's just like, it seems really unnecessary to do that. And he's not a saint in this situation either. And I'm not saying I am either. Like, I could be adding more fuel to this. My kind of goal is hoping that in the future this stuff doesn't happen again. I don't know. I think it's kind of a tough situation. It's not just the video that I'm hoping to upload eventually, if I ever get around to like doing something with it. It's also kind of talking about like past hacking exposed videos. Like there's where they're kind of like C1997 did one where he just he exposed Pavluka Van and then did this thing where you did, where he's like, for the record, I do not want to see him get any hate, and then said something along the lines of he's just a fucking cunt in the comments. So it's kind of like you're contradicting himself. He's contradicting himself.
Yeah.
And it just sort of feels like, you know, like it doesn't feel necessary.
And I don't agree with what he said. The past two videos I uploaded, as in the one I uploaded today and the one last week, I think it was, I did nothing like that. I haven't, I try my best, even though I strongly disagree with what Noctify is doing and everything that he stands for currently with the hacking situation. I try my best to not say disrespectful things, and while I can't say he's acted the same, I just try my best to not be like that kind of person, because, yeah, I don't like that. But, so to answer your question, you said, what is the end point? What is our goal? My goal is ultimately to do the same thing I used to do. I just want these people to confess, because I personally, I've already explained this, I think it's unfair that these people are gaining a very big fan base following on YouTube, and they're getting money for their cheated videos. And, you know, when people like Lukalizer upload videos that directly say they're hacked, I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. I actually think that's entertaining. I have a problem with when you pass it off as you're trying to pass yourself off as legit. I have a problem with that. And I have a problem when you make money and grow a fan base off of that. And so what my end goal is to get these people to stop doing that and to confess and try to basically restart and actually have a purpose for your YouTube channel other than cheating, because I don't like that kind of shit. So that's basically the end goal for me. I can't say the same for anyone else. I don't know what other people in the exposing group want the end goal to be. Maybe some of them really hate him and want his channel to die. That's not what I care about. I just care about him confessing and moving on.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of my issue maybe is just kind of the almost branding of the video, where it kind of feels like when you have these like 20-minute long, 10-minute long videos where it's kind of just pausing YouTube videos of them and showing them, I feel like it almost loses a little bit of the credibility to me. And so you end up with these videos that feel more like conspiracy theories than like well-researched things, which they probably are. They're probably really well-researched. I imagine like with 12, 13 people, you guys are doing, like, you're making sure that what you're doing is legit. And I'm like, it's just more for me when I see the video presented in the way it was presented, or when I see any exposed videos presented how they're presented, it usually feels kind of like, it just kind of feels like a hit piece. It doesn't really feel as much like a sort of almost like a Sherlock Holmes type of like, let's investigate, let's discover. Like, I kind of want to say this in my video where I think these exposed videos, I think they could do well. I think you could play them off as more of a thing where it's just like, hey, we caught you, ha ha ha, you know, and kind of like shrug it off as that. I understand that like you kind of have done that and he's not admitting to it, but it's more kind of the idea that when you present your video in the original tone, I almost think it would be almost more productive to not even say anything about like, I don't want this guy to get hate. If you just said, hey guys, just want to point out this one like hacking thing. Don't mention whether or not he's admitted to it or not. Just want to call it out. Like, look, this is how you can tell someone's hacking. This person's done this. And if it's almost more like a thing where it's like almost an informational piece where it's like, how can you, the viewer, spot hackers yourself when you're watching people? So it's almost like an awareness thing where if you want this to stop forever and you don't want to have to continue to do this, if you just say, so here's an interesting case with Noctify, you can notice that here there's 4 wave patterns that are identical. So this is a classic case of macros or whatever. And then you kind of explain like how you can spot this yourself so that you can be more informed as a YouTube watcher if you want to be. And it's also just like, I think that could be more productive and probably smarter. And I think it would be actually more entertaining. Truly, I'd probably watch that more often than I'd watch an exposed video.
All right. So, okay. So to respond, I try my best, and I used to do this, I think, more on my old exposing videos, that they were worse. Even though they were worse, I tried to at least teach people how to spot them. And from past experience, that's the past experience I've had with exposing videos. That's the whole reason I put the disclaimer for no hate at the start, because and there is one example where I did say to go hate someone. I regret that. I already talked about that. But in an instance where I don't say to go give these people hate, people in the comment section complain that I didn't say that. So it's like a lose-lose. You can't win. So I figured might as well try it and say it, and I felt like it did what it needed to do. Although people have a mind of their own, they can decide to do whatever they want. I can't control them. But I believe that although I'm not directly teaching people how to spot how these people are cheating, I think that I'm giving them examples to go off of so they can basically figure it out on themselves. And I think that's a better way to teach. Like, give someone an example and then they can go figure it out, and then reference my example and see if they come up with the same thing. I think that's a better, more effective way, because they figure out how to do it themselves. They don't just have a template that they go through where they're like, oh, this is happening here, this is a person cheating. Like, they can think for themselves. They can be like, well, this person seems suspicious, so I'm gonna use what I know to try to determine whether this person's legit or not. That's the point.
Yeah, I was just talking to Aurora's in the chat too about that. Kind of the thing is, it's like he was saying that it kind of exposes the tricks to find the tricks to find why they're hacking. So like if you give those information, then you're giving them information to get smarter too. And so I do understand that point. My issue with that is it kind of feels like, I mean, like, first of all, I'm not a huge, I don't care that much about hackers. I really, it's not the biggest issue to me.
And everyone's different about that, and everyone has different opinions. I am on the other side of the spectrum. I definitely disagree with the whole hacking thing, as I've already stated. But I fully understand that. Like, I get why some people do like it. For me, as a creator, I never had an issue with like the hacking thing. I would never personally hack because I don't see the need. But I do understand why other people like would do that type of thing. And I do understand why people would hate it as well. So like, I get all the sides of this. My point is more, it is a good question. It is a good point with Aro. Like, how can you find that balance? Where if you're exposing hackers or you're doing that sort of thing, then are you giving them more information? Yeah.
Whereas, so should you wait till they actually do hack to tell them this stuff?
Exactly, and that's what Michigan tried to do, and me and Michigan back in 1.9, we didn't want to give away our secrets. And I'm sure some people in the chat remember how we wouldn't tell people how we were finding things because we don't want to reveal it. It just gives them more. It's teaching the wrong people how to spot things. We're teaching the hackers how to cover their tracks by telling everyone exactly how they can find these.
Yeah, although, what would you propose as like kind of like a solution to that though? Because it's like this is actually just a genuine question. Is the goal I can't really speak for them, but is kind of part of it that like the demons list, like the extreme demon list, and being on that, like, because I know you get banned if you hack ever, so that's like a big thing. So is that kind of part of it to like make sure they're on the exposed and stuff?
Well, I'm not involved in the demon list anymore. I quit that. And the ban on the demon list is only 6 months for hacking. So I don't know what their motivation is behind that. I'm not involved in that, so I can't answer that. But so, alright, let's just summarize this point and move on, because I have another thing I want to talk about. I have a couple other things. So, just general opinions on the drama, once again, because I asked you this at the start, but I just want to ask you once again so people know. So what are your general opinions on the drama?
In general, I just think it's kind of unnecessary, a little bit harmful. Like, I think not necessarily all the cases, but there's instances where it can get to be destructive. And in general, I just think like exposed videos should be done in a smarter way that doesn't cause this extent of drama. Like, I sort of thought that, to me, when I saw like Tasha Lux upload 5 videos and then you plus Novel and all those people upload, it kind of just felt like it was going at this one person for granted. He's not innocent. He's not a saint in this situation either. But it feels like kind of like beating a dead horse at this point, where it's, he's hacking, yeah, but you probably could have just accomplished the same end result by saying, like, hey, we figured out all these hacking tips and all these hacking tricks ourselves. We can moderate the demon list. We can moderate these things. Let's take him down in these ways. We can maybe report drop top. I don't really know. Mm-hmm. But we don't need to make a full-on video kind of trying to attack him there. Yeah, so that's kind of my bigger thing, is kind of just the result of it. It just kind of felt like sort of a shitty situation where there was these videos that felt made for only the purpose of kind of attacking or harassing. Mm-hmm. And if that wasn't the intention, it just kind of came off that way, to me at least.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next thing. So, can you talk about the contents of your video, like, without revealing too much? I don't know if you want to reveal it much, but as much as you want to, can you talk about the contents and how much is going to be involving me or the Noctify situation? Mostly around me, because I'm just curious, and I'd like to get any misinformation like out of the way before the video is completed, so it doesn't have any misleading things.
Okay, let me go through it quick. So it's kind of just talking about. Let me change my push to talk from tab because it's messing with the thing. Let me just look through it. the main thing I'm kind of hitting on is kind of the message that's stated verbally versus message that's implied, or kind of the subliminal stuff that's going on below versus like what you're saying, whether even you realize it or not, like kind of how it comes off, like how a video comes off versus how it's made.
Yeah.
Where like when you're making a video on, give me a sec.
All right.
My script's messing up a little. When you're making a video on these types of people, like on hackers or on anyone like this, like you have to be like kind of aware, like who is the audience here. So like for example, Tosh's original Noctify video where he was calling him out for, I think it was, I don't remember all the points, but the bigger one was the I believe it was the macros where it was like four wave movements that were nearly identical, right? Was that it?
Yeah. I didn't watch the video, so I'm not really sure. I didn't. Yeah.
I think Tosh is in chat. I think he can confirm that. It was something like that, and I think I wasn't sure if there was other stuff, but that was the biggest one that I noticed. That was that I took kind of some concern with, because I kind of felt like, at least from my standpoint, it didn't feel like very compelling evidence. It was kind of played off as like very, very like, this is hard-hitting evidence that 100% confirms he's a hacker. And there's no way he can retaliate. And so I was kind of like, okay, it didn't really feel that way, and it was portrayed as that way. So I was kind of talking about, so there's three audiences who are going to see this video. There's the fans of Tosh Deluxe, who are like diehard fans, who are going to be like, who have the confirmation bias and think, okay, well, Noctify obviously hacked. This is stupid. I 100% agree with Tosh Deluxe. Then you're going to have Noctify as fans who are going to be like, oh man, fuck this Tosh Deluxe guy. Everything he's saying is a lie. And then you have neutral, maybe the middle ground where they don't care about either person, or they didn't even know who Noctify was. But now that Tosh pointed him out, now they know who he is. And so the result from that is either A, they're not going to check out his channel, but they already hadn't checked out his channel, so Noctify doesn't gain any subs, and he wouldn't have gained any subs anyways. Or they check out his channel, so he gains subs. So either way, Noctify isn't really losing in this situation. And if the goal of the video is to change someone's mind, it's not going to make sense either.
Yeah. Okay. So I understand that. So I tried to avoid. I'm not saying Tosh did anything wrong. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just saying I tried to avoid including things in my videos that weren't that I wasn't 100% confident in as a solid proof, and I think I did a pretty good job at doing that. I think that everything I included in my video was made perfect sense and anyone could understand it.
No, sorry to interrupt. I thought you did a very good job. I thought there was a lot of stuff there. Like I thought it was more. That specific point was more to Tosh's, and I think to the general exposed videos I've seen, where it's kind of a little bit of evidence and it's kind of put out to. It's kind of like a lead where it's kind of, now that Tosh has said it, now you have all these people who are also investigating, which is fine, but it's kind of, it feels like that alone isn't enough evidence to make a 5-minute video on that's basically a hit piece. And when you make that first initial video that is kind of in that negative tone, it kind of sets the stage for the rest of the conversation. So even if you do have a very well researched video and all this stuff, it comes off as a little bit more harassing, attacky, where that was actually, I think that was one of my concluding points, where it's kind of, you have Tosh making a video like that where whether he intended or not, it did cause a lot of controversy, and then you come in to try to clear it up. It's generally not, it's still kind of in the same category since it's on Tosh's side. Even if you take the smarter and higher or more composed side than Tosh did, you're still going to be grouped with that, and so you're still going to get that backlash from your video too. And so it kind of like, that was my end point. There's concern there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I understand where you're coming from. Also, Tosh Deluxe responded to your question in the chat if you didn't see it.
Let me check.
It's a little, you have to scroll up a little bit.
The second video? There was a lot of videos, so maybe I missed one. There was like 4 or 5. Let me check. Because, well, so was the second, because that was the other, my point more, Tosh, was that even if it was backed up in the second video, because it could have been backed up in Riot's video too. It was backed up in there too. My point was more that I don't know the timeline of that second video. I don't know if it was uploaded before Noctifly responded, but it more felt like that first response could have been stronger. Like you could have made it a stronger response, or like just a little bit like a stronger, smarter response, so that you didn't even have this this whole conflict in the first place. Because it was just enough that he felt like he kind of needed to stay with his narrative. And I don't like I said, I have very little knowledge of this hacking stuff. So like I'm more compelled to believe you guys because there's a lot of people believing you guys and there's him believing him. But like I don't have enough like care about it or enough information to really like be able to say definitively like, oh, he's hacking or oh, he's not hacking. Come on, guys. Like I don't really have that opinion. I'm more talking about the effects on the community and that type of thing versus is he hacking or not.
I'm just gonna interrupt 1 second. Sorry I missed 2 subs. Sorry we're in the discussion, just getting intense, getting focused on listening and making sure I hear everything correctly. So thank you for subscribing. I know I missed 2 subs. And Elrock, I saw your $5 donation. It didn't pop up because I'm using OBS Studio, and I normally when I stream Geometry Dash I use the regular OBS, so and that's where my Streamlabs pop-ups are, so it missed, or it didn't show, but thank you. I saw that you did donate, so thanks for the donation.
Yeah, my bad if I ever stop like what I'm doing right now, if I ever just stop making sense or stutter a lot, because I'm doing like 7 things at the same time.
It's alright, it's alright.
But yeah, Tosh said even Riot specifically mentioned how he had the intention. Well, I'm gonna read up. Second Death Quarter video convincing the points I made in the first one. I made the video after Noctifly. I didn't have any intention to send harm towards the channel, but the way he dealt with it got out of hand. I don't know. My more thing is I think there you should just drop it. I think it's like he's obviously at this point, whether he's hacking or not, he's going to stay to his narrative, and he's doing fine by staying to his narrative. He still has his group of fans. Good for him. Nothing's gonna change. Like unless he like you find him just like literally being an auto level and him saying nothing. I mean like even then if he denies it, like what's really gonna happen? Like he's already removed from the demon list, he's like probably already banned from the servers, or I don't really know. But if he's hacking and doing all these things, at the end of the day, like nothing's gonna change in terms of his YouTube channel. I don't think his diehard fans are all of a sudden gonna be like, oh man, I liked you as a person, and now that you're hacking, I hate you. Like, that's not going to happen, in my opinion.
And I'll just comment about what Tosh said. He's talking about the reaction of Noctifly. So I felt like my first video, I felt like both of my videos were very professional and mature, and I was strictly avoiding sending hate to him, like I've already said. But the way he received the videos and the way he reacted is... And I don't want to attack his character. I'll try my best not to say anything disrespectful, but the way he reacted was quite disappointing to see that he would name call. And I'm not offended by what he said. I'm just saying it's quite disappointing, and just like to see how he would react to that sort of thing instead of actually taking it seriously and acting mature about it. He like name calls and just denies it without really solid evidence. It's disappointing to see. Especially with a lot of hard work like put into that video, and it's just like a 3-second response saying, well, I'm right because I'm right, basically. In my opinion, that's what I think.
That's what I'm saying is like he's not really taking it well. He's not being very smart about responding. But at the same time, like it's just that's where you just drop it. Like it's unnecessary to make like it's like he's not being very smart with his response, but it still doesn't make it like necessary to respond to him, I guess, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the only reason I made a second video is because I was checking the comment section of his response video, and pretty much 80 to 90% of people were saying how my video was wrong, and I felt like people were I guess receiving my video in the wrong way, and I felt like I had to make a follow-up video so people would understand, like, exactly, like, even though the first video was very in-depth, I felt like I had to make a second video for people who didn't understand that, like, just didn't understand what I was trying to convey, basically, and I felt like, his fans weren't understanding what I was trying to get across, and yeah, so I felt like they weren't listening. So I had to make a second video. That's what I felt like.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I think it's I get that a little bit. Although I don't know. I think Noctify it's an interesting case because in general, when there's these exposing videos, I've seen them mostly come from like onto people who have like 3,000, 4,000, and that's where I think it's just a little bit stupid because it kind of just feels like you're exposing like it's the equivalent of exposing a kid for pirating Adobe After Effects on his computer to make videos. Like there's no need to call him out for it because he's just doing his own thing. But at the same time, like it's more complicated with someone with 30,000 and who has their own supportive fan base. So it gets a little bit more back and forth like that. But I don't know. I still feel like it's when you have like there's a lot more like it's granted you're gonna have overlap, but it's something like 500,000 subscribers total among you, Tosh, Novel, and all these different people who uploaded it versus his 30,000. And of course they're gonna overlap. And you guys are even going to overlap with Noctify there too. And if, like you said, a lot of them are dead subscribers too. But my bigger point there is that it feels like a lot of big YouTubers, more famous names, going against one smaller person when it's not really needed. You know?
Okay. So I see that. So, and you referenced like the Adobe pirating like programs, and well, I'm not 100% sure, but Actually, I don't know about cheating, posting videos of you cheating on YouTube. That's probably not against the term of service. I have no idea. But pirating anything is actually illegal in real life, even though no one does anything about it, clearly. But it is still illegal.
Yeah. So my point wasn't about posting that you're doing it. My point is like if I, for example, pirated something, and then you were to say, look, I just found out that this guy was pirating this. We should sue him. We should arrest him. We have to do something about this guy pirating this. We should make him pay. We should make him confess. That feels unnecessary because it's like, dude, I'm just sitting in my basement trying to figure out how After Effects works. Why are you doing this? It's not relevant to you. But that was my bigger point. Though. Okay.
So, but if someone pirates Adobe After Effects, then mentions Adobe on Twitter saying, "Hey, look, I pirated your program," I think they would pretty much take action. And that's basically what Noctify and any other cheater is doing when they're putting out a video into the community like that. They're asking for someone to do that. I feel like they're asking for someone to make a response like that.
But see, I think that's the only difference with the analogy there, where with pirating, it's actually illegal. Where people, like, if you steal from Adobe and don't pay them, then you actually are going to get, like, you could get in serious trouble.
Yeah.
If they decide to take action. Whereas with this, if you cheat on a video game and manage to make maybe a couple hundred a month, I don't really know how much he makes off of YouTube, but regardless, it's probably not a living, and if it ends up being, it's still fine because at the end of the day, it's not really illegal to hack this game. And maybe it is lying and deceitful that he's doing this, but it's still like he can still do it.
He can still do it, and but he can't expect people to respect him for that, and that's why I don't respect him. Just because I don't find it a respectable way to make money or get popularity. And as you said earlier that any good press or any press is good press. I disagree with that. I believe the complete opposite. And while good or bad press can make you popular, and like example with Kim Kardashian, she's like widely hated, but she's still popular. It's like the thing that comes with that is you're widely hated, but you're still popular. You got to be able to take the hate, and he can't do that. So that's where the problem lies. He's doing things that will make him be hated, even though he's popular, and he can't accept that being hated is going to come with what he's doing.
So I definitely do agree with the. There's for sure an extent to any press is good press type of thing, because like if you have sexual allegations lodged against you, then that's bad press, and that's bad for your character. My point is when you have these really kind of trivial types of things that are going on, and you have these very large things, the scale, the difference there is in the long run going to help him more than it's going to hurt him. And when you're talking about people like the Kardashians and things, they're hated, but they still are popular. Mm-hmm. Whereas, and and they can take the hate. Whereas this isn't about whether or not he can take the hate. This is more about like the giving out of the hate, where it's like, is this really needed to be given here?
Yeah, and
it's not whether it's not.
necessary.
He's taking it poor. He's taking it poorly. I'll give him that. He's not taking it well. He should like him. I think I kind of think both sides should just kind of drop it. It doesn't really seem like something that needs to continue for this long.
Yeah, and we discussed
but
it
he's
on
like
Discord.
he's equally liable, if not more liable, in this situation too. Like
we discussed it on Discord. He's talking about making a fake confession video, and then seemed like he was actually going to make a real confession video. So I don't know what he's doing. It seems like he wants it to be over, and ultimately it's his decision at this point. If he makes another video that tries to call me a liar, because, I mean, he did... I was talking to him in direct message. He directly called me a liar, said that every single one of my points in the video I made today is a lie, and that's just not true. He has to accept the fact that I am right, and the points I use are facts. You can't get around it. And I've asked countless people to disprove what I've said are facts. Nobody can do it. Nobody can come out with the right proof. And the necessary proof, like, I'm not gonna get into it, but yeah. So it's ultimately his decision. If he makes another video and implies that I'm lying, I'm going to probably respond. I'm not going to let him get away with what he's trying to get away with. And if he makes a confession video, fake or real, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. We'll have to see when it comes out. So I don't know.
Personally, I don't feel like you should apply to it. It's like your channel, so it's obviously your decision. Like I'm not going to stop you, and it's fine if you do. It might be an interesting video to see, but just before you do, just sort of think about it, because I think if you do make that video, like, you're right. Anybody who watches you or anybody who isn't an Octofly fan knows you're right. So, like, what are you hoping to get out of doing that? You know what I mean? Like, are you hoping... Because you don't need... His name is under the gutter right now. If he throws you under the gutter and, like, tries to call you a liar, there's not very many people who are going to believe him at this point. And if you take the high road and just not upload the video, you're going to just seem like 100 times like a better person in that case. He can call you out, but, like, at the end of the day, it's probably a lot of bogus evidence again. So you don't really need to keep going over and over again, because it's possible that he's just like, oh, this is great for me. I keep getting shout outs. I keep getting these videos made about me. It's really helping my cause here. If you just stop, it kind of stops him being relevant.
All right. Well, I can understand that. So am I mentioned it all in the video? Because I wanted to talk about, we got off track a little bit, but I just wanted to know specific points where I mentioned in the video, because, like I said, I don't want any misconceptions about what's happening. I don't want what happened with Noctifly to happen here. I want it to be straight facts and evidence. Or, I guess that's not an exposing video, but you know what I mean. Like, the truth, what happened, no misconceptions, no misunderstandings. So, just want to talk with you about it. So, before it goes live, if it does go live, we both know.
I mean, yeah, we'll see if it even goes live at this point, because I've pretty much touched on most of my points in the video during this discussion here.
And I'm probably going to post this on YouTube, since I think this has gone really well. And you can feel free to upload it as well. I don't mind. And I can send you the file after this. I'll upload it, since I think this is a good discussion for the community to watch.
Yeah, for sure. Let me just keep looking through this for a little bit. I do mention you. There's very few cases where I, like, specifically mention you, except for, like, that you actually edited the video. I more talked about it as kind of a group effort, where it was like the whole research. I don't know how you guys went about doing that, but it was like you ended up recording the final video, but it seemed like you had like 14 or 15 names below each description, so it seemed like maybe it was like a group Discord chat that you guys worked on finding evidence in, or something like that, is what my guess would be.
Yeah, so I can explain that really quickly if you want me to.
Sure.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, we have a Discord group, and basically we all just come together and we search for what we believe is proof, and then we discuss about it as a group and decide whether this can really be used. Like, we try to determine whether that can be used as fact, as something that we can actually use to expose him. And while other group members might feel like something is straight fact, I might disagree with them, and I wouldn't put it in my video. They might put it in their video, so we're all different. So I can't speak for everyone, but I only include, like I said, the things that I 100% am confident with.
Yeah. No. I can't fully speak to like the validity of any of the claims because I don't really know much about the game. What I do know is it's buggy as fuck.
Yep.
Like, I've had weird ass bugs happen to me in the past where it probably would look like I'm hacking. Like, at least in the editor, when you test run the editor, the line goes all over the place. You have things like that. And there's things like that where you just like, you do notice the bugs. I notice editor bugs all the time. I don't notice gameplay bugs as much because I don't gameplay as much. But there are a shit ton of bugs in the game, and that's a thing that the community constantly complains about. Like, all the bugs, so many bugs. RobTop, fix the bugs for fuck's sake. Finally fix them.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, we have these conversations where it's like, it can't be a bug, it can't be that. And it's from what I've seen, it does seem like some of these are definitely not bugs, or some of these are more likely to be not bugs than be bugs. So some of the things, when you constantly dispel all of their points as just being bugs, eventually it just feels unlikely that all of these situations just somehow happen to him and no other creator.
Exactly.
So I get that, but I'm more saying that it is possible that he has a shitty computer and it just runs like that. Like, I'm not discounting that idea.
Nobody knows. Nobody can know for sure except him. He's the only one who really knows. But
because like, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I forgot what I was gonna say, so go ahead. I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say.
Because I was gonna just say, like, with Geometry Dash, it's not really intended to be almost a multiplayer game like it is. Like, it kind of is, but it's not intended to be almost a competitive game where it's who can beat who first. And eventually, he added the leaderboard and that type of thing to make it more like that. But I don't think that was its original intent, to be play against your friends sort of thing. So I don't think he's ever had in mind, like, how can we optimize it so each game is exactly identical? Yeah. I mean, he's of course tried to, because that's kind of the point, is that you memorize the level and learn it. But in terms of the very fine details technically, that isn't necessarily his priority. Like, I've tried my hand at game design before, and obviously I'm probably not as optimized as he is. But if I shoot, like, I'm working a grapple game right now, if I shoot a grappling hook at a wall, I'm not guaranteed. If I shoot at the same spot every time, just based through the engine, it's not guaranteed to work every time. Sometimes it doesn't work in the same gravitational way it does. So, like, it's with Geometry Dash, with a game where it's focused on making sure the platforming works each time, he's done a very good job of making sure the jumps work perfectly every time and making sure there aren't very many bugs. But there still can be small ones that aren't noticed until you get to these precision pinpoint timings and these extreme demons that otherwise wouldn't ever show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I remember I was going to say, so the reason we don't, personally the reason I don't ask RobTop if these bugs are real is because of one instance, and that's because I think in late 1.9 or early 2.0, so have you ever played like a 9-circle themed level?
Yeah, I've played a couple. I've never beaten any of them, but I've played them.
So you know the slopes.
Like the green one, the problematic.
Okay. So you know the slopes that are used, right? They have like the little gap in between. If you line them up, like if it's a mini wave part and you line them up going slanting upward, there's the little space in between each one of them. You know what I'm talking about?
Repeat that. Sorry, repeat that.
All right, so the slopes used in a 9-circle level, they have the little spots, or they have the little blank space in between them if you line them up. Like you're making a part of a 9-circle level. Like you're lining them up in a slant.
Yeah, I think I know what you're
So they have like a little square in between them? Yeah. Well, no.
Yeah, corner pieces.
It's hard to explain. But basically, if you get too close to that, you can go up most of the way, all the way up to, like, if you're going through a small space, and then halfway up you can just die. Even though you pass like 3 of those gaps, you get killed by one of them, but not the other 3. Things like that.
Yeah, I've seen things like that.
Yeah, that happened, and I told RobTop about that, and he was telling me about how that's not a thing. And I told him to go check it, and he's like, well, you're actually right, it is a thing. So the reason I don't tell or ask RobTop about these bugs is because I don't think he even knows his game well enough to answer my questions about this. So really, we can't ask anyone about it. He doesn't, and he doesn't know his game well enough, in my opinion, to answer those kind of questions.
I think you have to have more trust in with he probably doesn't know that that's the case, like that's a bug. but that's kind of why that's the problem with being an indie developer. Like he tries to bug test it as best as he can, but when you're one person, there's going to obviously be bugs.
Yeah,
I'm
not discrediting.
That's one of the things where it's like there. Sometimes I think people are like, "Oh, Rob Top doesn't give a shit about his game. There's so many bugs, he needs to fix them." And it's like, well, he definitely should hire more people. Granted, like one person for millions and millions of people is not enough. He should be hiring more people. But if he wants to stay alone, that's fine. But just then accept the fact that there's going to be bugs, and that he might not know about all of them just because one person will never. Bugs are mistakes. They're not supposed to be in the game. So he's not like, oh, I'm going to upload this even though I know that this bug exists.
Yeah, he doesn't know about
that.
Then
otherwise he would fix the bug first before uploading.
Yeah, exactly. So my point wasn't to say Rob Top was a bad game developer or anything like that. I'm not trying to discredit him. I'm just saying I don't trust his knowledge within his own game from past experience from, like I've already said, asking him about the bugs earlier, like a year or two ago. I don't personally trust him enough to answer my question on whether these bugs are real things. So that's just personally. And when we look at the history of everyone who's played this game, and you can see that no one else has experienced these kinds of bugs besides Noctifly, and I've already explained this, but like his friends or his friend, his girlfriend, whatever. Which, by the way, if anyone hasn't heard, that Alice girl actually confessed to faking that video, the Sonic Wave video. So that has been confirmed that was faked. By Noctify, it was confirmed that was fake. So yeah, so I wasn't trying to discredit him. I was just saying I don't trust him well enough to answer that kind of question.
I know I'm saying that you are doing that. I'm more saying like, it might still be valid to try to go to him and maybe just say like, hey, like just a heads up, like this is a thing, you should see if you can fix this, or just maybe talk to him and just sort of try to see if he can do anything about the optimization with that type of thing. Because like I think with Wave and that type of thing, clicks in general, just clicking your mouse, I think there's in Geometry Dash itself, there is a lot of optimization to make sure that when you jump, you can still go through a block in a little bit if you're jumping enough. Like there's compensation in all games. For example, when you're doing collisions in a game, instead of doing like when the block overlaps with the other block that you're colliding with, you're usually doing when the block, like one frame before the block is about to overlap. So you do like the momentum that block is moving. If it's about to move 5 pixels to the right and there's a block 5 pixels away, then you move it those 5 pixels, and then in the next frame, if it's going to move 5 pixels in, you just move it 0 pixels. Same if there's 4 pixels. If it's 5, you only move it 4 instead. So it's rather than, it basically compensates before it knows where the block is going to be the next frame, so it stops it 1 frame early so you don't crash the game. And so I think there's probably something like that going on with Rob Top, where you have all this like complex coding there. And so he kind of just says, okay, so the wave he's about to click the wave, or he just clicked the wave, so he almost hit that block, but we'll give him some lenient room there because he almost hit it. He didn't actually get close enough. Let's just call it that he's not dead yet, and so let's move him. And so that's possible, like how that block in 9 circles came to be, where it's just kind of compensating for slopes, and it ended up resulting in a bug. I think that's possible that stuff happens in Geometry Dash all the time, just to make sure that newer players who don't know how to play, or just any players who get a jump slightly wrong, aren't completely destroyed and lose the level instantly for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got to make it lenient.
Right, yeah, it's just like even in shooting games, like if you don't hit him exactly on the head, there's hit compensation to make sure that if you get very, very close, it's compensating for things like ping and lag and stuff like that. That's like, oh, he clearly was aiming there on his server side. It doesn't show that on our side, but we'll allow it because he was clearly doing that, and we should reward him for taking the time to actually figure out to shoot him and that sort of thing.
And maybe that can be applied to other things that I discussed in the proof. The only thing that he can't disprove is the background changing. That just doesn't happen. Like, out of every single pro player that's come along, none have experienced that kind of quote-unquote bug. So it doesn't exist. So let's move on. So let's see.
Really quick, didn't you say there's one where he did like the sonic wave demonstration? It was like with the creator or whatever. On your video.
Yeah. So
it was like, I don't know.
So
that seemed like important.
I discussed that. So he cited. So the person who made that sonic wave video is called Alice. That was his former girlfriend, and I'm not trying to bring his private life into this. I'm just explaining the relationship so you guys understand why someone like that would have motivation. Exactly, why someone would have motivation to defend him. So I tested it myself, and if you watch my video, I completely recreated her clip, and it looks exactly the same, with granted that the creators don't look exactly the same, they're not in the same spot. But I basically recreated the same exact thing using Invisible Auto to get the wave to look consistent, and I just used 2 separate attempts and made sure the saws were spinning in the same direction, and I just clipped the clips together, and it looked perfect. And the only way you can tell the difference between being cut or not is the background. And I was discussing with Noctifly in his server, like, before I called you, and he confessed that, well, he said that Alice confessed to him that she faked the Sonic Wave video, so that video was fake. I was right about that. So that's what we were talking about.
Okay.
So, is that what you were asking?
Yeah, no, I was more confused, like, what that video was about, because as like, is that just, like, I feel like that's pretty damning evidence.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, that kind of seems like he's kind of just, it wasn't him, so I don't really know if he's still in the clear for that. Like, that's, for me, I'm not really sure what to take out of that. It's just kind of interesting to me, because I saw that and I was like, so then that's clearly, that's a demonstration video, granted, because I think it's possible that they were using that just as a demonstration because the creator is like a thing.
Well, it's possible, but from the way the video was portrayed, they were trying to explain that. And actually, from screenshots I've seen of Noctifly talking to other people in DMs, he's explaining how it's the same exact bug that Alice experienced the same bug he did on Sonic Wave. So he's trying to pass it off as them experiencing the same bug. He was.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of.
All right. Well, do you want me to specify? I can clarify if you need. You there? I don't know what happened. You might be busy or not being able to talk. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, Azulian's here. Hi. Also, I don't know if I missed any subs or donations, but thank you. If I did miss any, thanks. Sorry I can't catch all of them. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I feel like this is pretty fun. And it's interesting, and I hope everyone else thinks it's interesting. I definitely want to post this on YouTube. Okay, Etzer just messaged me. Let me check what he said. 1 minute. Okay, he said 1 minute. He's probably busy right now. Just give him a minute, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. So, do you want me to... I can specify or clarify anything.
Can you repeat what you said? I was going.
Yeah, okay. So, what did you miss? Did you miss my explanation? Because the last thing I said to you was just how Alice confessed that it was a fake Sonic Wave video, and
yeah, that was the last thing I heard.
Yeah, that's all I said. And now Noctify was claiming that they experienced the same bug, so it's pretty much implying that he's lying about the bug even existing.
Yeah.
If he's saying that they experienced the same bug. So, that's all I'm saying. So, do you have... Because I asked you if you were still confused, and you said just a little bit. So, do you want me to clarify, or do you understand?
I'm trying to remember what I was confused about. I think it was...
Well, you didn't say you were confused. You said you didn't fully understand.
No, it was more like... Because I feel like kind of when you make a video like that, like they're kind of... the background itself is kind of that creator background I think is the most, when I'm looking at like different backgrounds. That one, not only is that the one that was like brought up into context the first time that it was disputed, so that's kind of why he would use that for one, but also it's like one of the few types of backgrounds that has like very distinct things that you can point out like that.
Yeah.
Like it's much harder to do it with any of the like original 2D backgrounds.
Yeah.
The 3D backgrounds, it's easier, but that one made the most sense just because it was the one that was called out for, I think it was like Zafkiel or whatever that level is.
Yeah. And that volcano background isn't even on Sonic Wave, so I'm not sure why they put it on there.
Right, well, that's why I feel... Yeah, that's what I was confused. Like, why would you put it on that one specifically? But I think it's just the idea, like, even this level can have those glitches, too. So, I don't know.
But, yeah. So, BeanieBean01 in chat asked, didn't Nocta's original Yada video have a different attempt at the start of the level? So, yeah, I didn't cover that point because I didn't feel like it was 100% proof because we don't have actual video evidence of the older video. But, so, Etzer, I'll explain it really quickly, the situation. So, from people who saw this, when Noctify first uploaded his Yada video, the attempt at the start of the level, like, let's say he was on attempt 1, and then when he beat the level, it was, like, attempt 3. So, that's what was in the original video, and people saw that. People don't have video proof, but from what I've heard, many different people have seen that. Just no one has proof of it, so that's why I didn't include it in my videos. And apparently he deleted that video and re-uploaded one with a really long fade-in at the start, so you can't see the attempt at the start. So we don't have video proof of this happening, but we have many people who saw the original video. And like I said, that's why I didn't include it in my video. But so that's what happened. So because I don't think you heard about that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know about that.
So that's to answer that person in chat. All right. So the last thing I wanted to talk about. Let me pull up this. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about. So overall, do you have an opinion on what side is right? Are you neutral? Just tell me. Just like explain.
I think I see myself as like the third side. Neutral? That's also a shitty side of this. That I guess kind of neutral, but it's more like it's not that I think both sides should get along. It is that I think both sides should get along. It's more like I don't think either side is right at all. It's not like there's a common ground between them. I just think both sides are being a little bit silly about this, like going about how you guys are going about it. I feel like it's kind of the wrong way to go about it, maybe.
Okay.
And that like it's kind of, like, I don't know. It's kind of maybe a stupid side to take. To some people, that's a stupid side to take, where it's almost like when it's like kind of like nonpartisan, where it's just sort of like, hey, I think both you guys are wrong, whatever. Or it's the same as I think everybody's right. Both of those opinions are kind of just feel like you're not strongly opinionated. But here I'm very strongly opinionated that I'm not opinionated about this.
Okay, I can understand that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I just think that it's kind of silly. Like it's unnecessary, and that was the original. I originally started writing this video from the first Tosh expose like a month ago, and I sat on it for like a month, and then I just came back to it today to like put more into it. But I originally started it with the title Geometry Dash Exposed videos are useless, because I was just sort of like, it's so ironic that you have Tosh making this video here about a creator with what I saw as the intention to either harm this YouTuber, or to hope that this person is like defamed and doesn't get any more views, and all it's doing is giving him more views, or at least giving his channel more insight, more views, at least to his channel for the time being. And as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. Like, that's good for Noctify, and that's bad for Tosh. Yeah. Or not bad for Tosh, it's just at least good for Noctify and bad for Tosh's video.
Okay. Alright, so, well, that's pretty much it. That's all. I had like a little mini list of what I wanted to cover. Do you want to say anything else? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
I think I'm fine. Let me see. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna still make this video.
Alright.
That's the biggest thing, because I feel like it would kind of just be doubling up a lot of these points. I'd probably have to rewrite it a little bit, because most of my stuff still hangs intact, but like there's definitely some like more insight here, because one of the things that I wanted to reach out. I was talking to Novelboy before this Discord call too, where I was like, and I also posted on Twitter about that, because am kind of interested in like where is the other side coming from here? Like, what is when the creator's making this video, to be mindful of the purpose, you know? And I see it as looking in, what would their purpose be? How am I seeing that? And what I think your purpose or Tasha's purpose or C1997's purpose is might be different than what you guys have as your set purpose. So like that was interesting to me to like kind of hear there, because it's like different. There's different priorities or different things you guys care about than I do. So that's interesting to me, especially just because for me at least, my biggest point in the game, in my thing that I didn't cover, and I might just make my own video about, just because it's an important topic alone, or just a fun topic to make a video on, not really that important, it would just be fun to talk about, is I just think the whole concept of gameplay videos in them itself are pretty stupid, because I think at the end of the day, the gameplay videos I do like watching are the ones where the person has a personality. So when like you have a funny reaction at the end, or you have them talking, or Viprin's videos with gameplay, just because you have those coin descriptions, which adds some new unique element to it. Because otherwise, I'm either watching the original creators' video on their YouTube to support specifically them, or to support their levels. But like, I'm not really watching, like, perfect example, like Skitten is a super nice dude, but I just don't watch his videos because they're just reposting levels that I've probably either already seen or don't really care about seeing.
Yeah, and there's an exception with that, like, when someone beats an extreme demon, it's like, well, I gotta see that. And that's, like, the only point where I'd be like, yeah, I want to watch this gameplay video. I don't want to watch, like, a 3-star level.
Well, for me, like, at least for me, I see him as equivalent, where I wouldn't watch the same 3-star level over and over again, and I wouldn't watch the same extreme demon level with complete silence over and over again. So, like, I end up clicking on the extreme demons. One, if they're like creators I actually do care about, but two, if they have like a voice or a face cam, because then you actually get to see reactions, and it's, oh, that was pretty funny, like they freaked out for no reason or something like that, and that's kind of funny. So that's why I personally watch it. You could basically skip to the end and get the same amount of enjoyment out of the video than you watch the whole thing for. It's more about watching them like get stressed out, like start sweating at 90%, like watching Novel get to 80% in bloodlust and start breathing really heavily, and watching him get to my part and dying hundreds of times over and over again and cursing at his computer monitor. That's what's entertaining to me. It's not the fact that he's playing the demon for 4 hours that's entertaining to me. And so that's where I think when there's these exposed videos on these creators that are hacking, it's like, well, who's to say that his content is any worse than yours, looking at it from outside view? If I was never in part of the Geometry Dash community and I couldn't spot the difference between a hacked video and a non-hacked video, which bear in mind I still can't really that well, I wouldn't see the difference or have any less entertainment out of one video than the other, unless that one video had a better reaction or a more interesting part. That's the only cases in which I would really enjoy a level more than another level gameplay.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can understand that. So, alright, so is there anything else you want to say other than that?
I think that's it.
Alright, and that's all I have to say as well. So, basically, just to summarize, for people who weren't here for the whole thing, I'm going to be posting this whole video, it's like discussion on YouTube, so if you missed anything, you can go back and watch it. I don't know how long this was, probably over an hour, or around an hour, I don't know. So just to recap what we talked about both of our opinions on the drama, what we thought about everything. We went in depth with that. Talked about the contents of Etzer's planned video, which may or may not come out. It's up to him.
I'll probably put some kind of... We'll see. I'll put some kind of almost like... Probably like the original video and script would probably be like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. I'm not very good at gauging. It was like 3 pages long. Because I had like a lot of stuff that I was just spewing out, because it's in this case there was C versus Pavlukovan, which we didn't really touch on, but that's like an interesting case. There's some other ones like that are like interesting that I had this huge video on, but most likely, since we covered a shit ton of it here, if I do end up making a video on it, it would probably be like a 3 or 4 minute thing. But most likely I'm gonna just focus on more important videos I have to do. Like I have this GD show thing I'm working on, I have a new level coming out, there's stuff like that I'm gonna focus on more. So I'll figure something out with this. Most likely I won't end up making a new video like this. No.
Okay. So yeah, so we talked about the contents of the video without spoiling too much. What my involvement in the video would be, just to make sure there weren't any misconceptions about everything. Then we also briefly discussed what his opinion was on the whole situation and who was right, and my opinion on the situation. So yeah, I guess that's it. You don't have anything else to say, right?
Follow me on Tumblr. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I don't really have anything. You can subscribe to me if you want.
And I'll link this channel in the description. I'll link your channel in the description.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, go ahead. You should check out my SoundCloud. Just kidding.
Oh wow, yeah. When's your new
I'm
mixtape?
releasing a new so right now I have like one good song on there, but there's a new song coming like very soon, so that's kind of exciting for me.
Oh wow. And you're
and
being
that's
serious, right?
Yeah, I'm being kind of serious there, but
Okay.
like
You are
don't
making
plug
a new
that
song?
actually. Don't. Yeah, no, with Zizix or whatever, and then I'm getting
Okay.
some dude to like master stuff, so that's kind of exciting for me.
That's cool.
But you don't have to. Don't plug that because I don't want to look like a dick. You know what I mean?
All right, I won't. I'll link your channel in the description though. All right.
It's kind of a joke. If you guys should check it out, and if you like the music, then like let me know why you like it. And if you hate it, please tell me why you hate it. And thanks Aro for the nice music comments. I appreciate that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's it. I don't really have anything to say other than that.
And I don't have anything
discussion.
else. So yeah, good discussion. Thanks for coming on here and taking the time. I know you're probably busy, but thanks for taking the time to discuss. I appreciate it. It was fun and entertaining. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the stream. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Like I already said, if you're in the stream, this is going to be posted on YouTube. I'll try to get it up tonight, but it'll probably take a long time to render because it's a pretty long video. So thanks guys for watching. Thanks for all the subs and donations. I appreciate it, all of it. Thanks for the support. Yeah, thanks guys. I will see you soon. Thanks.